guys, this is Megan from You Go to Be Kidding, where we want to encourage you on your homesteading journey. And today I'm just kind of out front. I'm walking the property and taking note of what plants I find and just the general status of our pasture. So I kind of want to take you on our walk and show you what I'm looking for and things I notice that stand out to me, and just talk about kind of the importance of making sure you do walk your pastures and see what's out here. So it's also really relaxing and a great way to spend the afternoon. So while I'm out here walking the pastures, I bring in River along with me. It's always a good idea to just get her out and practice on leash, but it's also a good idea to have her walk the edges. So I'm out front here. This is where I am, front along the road. This is our main pasture. The sheep will be coming out here in a little bit. They're kind of eating their way forward. We've been saving this up for them. So it's hard to tell. It all looks very uniform. It looks great. I see mostly grasses, but it's actually pretty tall. I don't know if you can tell there with Caleb. You know, the grass is kind of going up to his mid-calves there. It's pretty tall, which is great. And we're just gonna kind of walk along the edge and see what we can find. So this is one of the first plants we find, and it's some sort of kale or brassica, but it's where the chickens have been. And so I don't know what brassica seed would have been in our chicken feed, because it's in all different locations. It's not like we dumped it to them once. You can also see some up over there. If I zoom in a little, maybe. There's another one. And so they're all over the place. I'm not sure what exactly it is. I think it might just be kale, but I find it weird that it's in our chicken feed. So if you, I'll have to go look, or if you know a little bit more about chicken feed, let me know what plant exactly it is I've got growing here. So this one here is burdock. I can only find these little tiny ones, but I'm always looking for medicinal plants, and burdock is a big one that is medicinal. I'm still learning how to use different plants, but hopefully we'll be able to keep some of this growing here, and hopefully I'll be able to find some bigger ones, or even transplant this somewhere in my garden. So it's all the way up to her belly. We've got good grasses all across here. So this one here is bergamot, or bee balm, and Cole is actually the one who found the patch of it up here in our front yard. We're right up next to the road in our fence. Hello, puppy. And so this one helped me with a cold earlier this year. I just put some leaves in a hot cup of water and just breathed in the steam. But they have really cool flowers, and I actually did transplant some of this to one of my herb beds. Thank you, River. We also have plantain up here, but this is the longer, skinnier leaf plantain, and we have broadleaf plantain all over, which is what I normally use when I need plantain. And then this big fuzzy one is mullein. And so I actually just came and pulled a bunch of these leaves here, and they had there were lots of big broad leaves, and I pulled them, so they're really fuzzy. And so mullein is good for respiratory, and then the oil of the flowers is really good for ear infections and earaches and stuff. But I am constantly learning. I'm not an expert on medicinal herbs by any means, but I love learning about it. It's always fascinating how many of them you can find just in your own yards. Most of these are extremely common, and it just takes a minute to go out and see what you have. And when you find a plant you don't know what it is, you look it up. So that's what I've been doing today. It's been great to find all of these, especially the mullein and the burdock are not as common as the others. And so to just have them growing here is pretty cool. What you also find when you're walking around your yard is the hole that your dog dug while she was supposed to be guarding chickens. But at least I found it now, so I'm gonna fill it with some mulch, and then when the grass grows over, nobody's gonna break an ankle stepping into the hole the dog dug. So overall, River's been a really good girl, but she is definitely starting to dig holes if she's a little bit bored. I'm not sure how to stop that. So if you have any tips on keeping a dog from digging, I'd love to hear that too. Another fun one we have is yarrow, or I hear some people call it yarrow. I'm not sure if it's yarrow or yarrow. River, your shadow's in the way. This little patch is actually wild in front of our workshop, but I do have some of this in a planter. So I have it growing myself, but I find it fun that it's out here on its own. Good girl. Oh, the work with River never ends. So I'm in here with the bucks, who stink, by the way. Be glad you can't smell through the through the screen. Hey, girl. Hey, buddy. Oh, don't come. Don't. Oh. Shh. You also need to make sure you get yourself some boys who can do all the hard work for you. But seriously, these boys are such a huge help, and they do such a good job. Well, the dog is wrestling around my feet. Oh, look at them. Good job. Alrighty, well, the goats and the sheep are moved. I've taken the dog for a walk. Everybody is all set up, and that's kind of all we have going on this week for farm things. But what's actually coming up next week is we are spending all next week demoing our kitchen and installing new cabinets and countertops. So I will try to bring you along for some of that and show you some of the befores and afters and give you ideas. I know that's not quite the same as farming, but a working kitchen is a huge part of running a homestead and being able to cook all the food that we're growing and trying to preserve it and stuff. So the kitchen's a part of that, so I'll definitely show you that. But today we're just out here enjoying the weather, checking out the different plants that we have growing on our property, and just spending some time outside enjoying the animals. So hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you next time.